Hi and welcome to this tutorial for the channel mask assignment. I'm going to get right into it, so I show you that I have purchased 4 images. This is one of them, which is a high-res image, so it's very clear, and you can see that even the hair over here is going to show up into the background. You can see how clean it is. Okay, don't trust this image. I'll bring up the regular image in Photoshop that I have there, which I'm going to do right now, just so you can see how clean it is. Just let it open for a second. Now look at how clean that is. It's almost not pixelized at all. Okay, so we're going to maintain that and build to the finish. So this is just the PDF file. Okay, so what I want to show you is what we've done to it. So I'm going to try to zoom in Acrobat here just to show you. Okay, so let me click the file and let's zoom into here if it's going to cooperate with me. Okay, so here is the high-res castle background, and you can see there is no depth of field here. So at the end of the file, at the end of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to and I can show you right now what the result is, but I'll show you how to do it. You can see what I've done here is, since her hair over here is blurry and it was blurry in the original image, I have cheated. I have actually done a similar depth of field here so that the blurry hair and the blurry foreground makes sense, and then I use like a double depth of field, and I have artist license. I can do what I want. So I have done a little bit of clarity on the castle itself, and then the major clarity is on her exact face. So there's depth of field from the foreground of her hair to the far side of her hair, including the background of the river and the foreground of the background, and then the castle in the background is clear. And also over here I have added a little bit more clarity on this side of it, right over there. So this is what we're going to do, and I'm telling you here also, and I'm going to use this PDF, and it's in the folder. This is your asset folder that you're going to be getting. It has the channel mask assignment PDF, which is this one you're looking at, and if there's any corrections, I'll certainly make them. It has the regular castle background, and then I have this JPEG of the one I did, okay, just so you can see and just judge for yourself. And then I've purchased several other images. There's the original of her, there's another female figure with hair blowing, and there's another female figure with hair blowing. And I wanted you to practice, but these are high-res images, so I got them all for you, and you can use them and put them in your portfolio, and everything is cool. So what I wanted to show you here was that, and I'm going to move down like this, that this original picture, I'll try to zoom in a little bit, isn't real. It's warm, yes, but it's not sunlight warm. So what I've done is I've added a little bit of that sunlight to her face, okay? And it's really fun to use camera raw filters and to use lighting filters. It's really fun. So let me just say, please notice that a warm sunlight effect was added to the background, and the filter camera raw edits enhance the female figure and help blend the 2 images into a common color theme. That's what we're looking for, is a common color theme. Now, here is a quick description of how to cut her out. So I'm not gonna, you have this PDF so you can read it. Here's the original image on this side right there. On this one right there, it's a copy of the green channel, and my PDF outlines exactly how to do this, and we're going to go step by step through it. So and we're going to use the green channel because, as opposed to the blue or to the red channel, the green channel has a better contrast between the background and the dark hair, and you'll see what I mean. So what I've done there is, on this one we applied a quick levels to it. Then I used a paintbrush to make sure that this was white in the background and she was black. So you all know that in a selection, in a mask, whatever's white turns into the selection, whatever's black doesn't turn into the selection, right? So what I did was from this one to this one, we inverted it. And then I used it. I actually made a Command or Control click on it to turn it into a selection right in channels. And then I cut out her head and her hair. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, on this one, it says open the woman to hair JPEG, and then let's use this PDF. And I'm going to put it on my other screen just like this. And we're going to keep on going. So in here, it says open the number 2 file right there, and I'm going to leave the other one open, meaning the finished one, so you can see all the layers and I can just double and triple check on you. But I'm going to hit the F key so I can expand this to full screen, and as you can see, there are no extra channels. I'm going to put the tool palette down here and the channels up here so we can just concentrate on them. And then I'm going to leave the layer palette just like this. Okay, I'll try to zoom in when I need to. So next thing, let's just keep on going. It says save as to Woman Castle Composite with your name. So let's just go right now. I'm gonna cheat. So if you have this open, you can just drag across that name right there. I'll go like this, and I'll hit Control or Command C, and I'll put this on my other screen. And now I'm going to save this. So I'll save as to a PSD file, and I will drag across this. And I will put my name in. And I'll put demo just so I know it's my demo file. So I'm saving it into, I don't want to save it into the asset folder, or do I? I will for now. I'll see. No, I don't actually. I want to save it just into the folder. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is double click the background to turn it into a regular layer. So now it is. Now, try to go through this step by step, and I'm going to, so if I see any errors I can fix them. So the very first thing we're going to do is determine which channel to use. And of course I've told you it's the green channel, but let's determine that it's the green channel. So I even give you, once we determine it's the green channel, I'm going to use levels, and I use levels to these numbers right here. And they're nothing in this whole PDF or in this whole assignment is written in stone. If you want to make something more or less, that's up to you. Okay, and remember, these are my edits based on my visual perception, my visual standards. Okay, so I'm going to go about 80, 110, and 170 on the dark, on the midtones, and on the white. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my other screen. You can open this up and follow along with it, with what I'm doing, but now let's click on the red channel. Look at how the red channel doesn't have the separation between her hair, here I'll zoom in, and the background. The green channel does. Now the blue channel does, but it darkens the background. So I would rather use the green channel. If you want to try it with the blue channel, be my guest, it's fine. So what I've said was, never ever hurt an original image. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to just name it Clicky. Now that's the one I'm probably going to cut out. Okay, so and there's several ways to cut something out once you have the channel. So here's the green channel. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to drag it to the new channel icon right there. And now I'm just going to leave it named green copy. Okay, and I'm going to hit Control or Command L, right, for levels. And I told you the numbers are 80, so I'm going to move this over to approximately 80. So I'm picking up all the darks, see that? Now let's put this one on 170 just about, which I'm real close right now. And now I just raised the midtone up to about 110. Let me just drag across that and put in 110. So I have it exactly right. Now, what I'm going to do here, and according to the handout, is we have, let me back off, we have a really good thing going on here, and I'm going to fill in her head area, making sure I don't touch any of the holes for the hair, but then I have to gently customize this. Okay, now I don't want to lose some of that hair that's over here. I am going to lose a little, but it's okay. All right, so I put this in here so you can see that that's kind of what I did. And I'll show you how I did that. And so you're going to have to just watch the tutorial for how I do this. So let's go back to this. And now notice how when you're clicked on a channel and it isolates the channel, the layer turns red. It's just telling you that you're not working on a layer, you're working on a channel. Just wanted you to know that. So I'm going to take the paintbrush and I'm going to move into this, okay, a little closer to her body, and I'm going to sample by holding Alt or Option, the dark that's right here, and I'm going to put this at 100%, which is not normal. Okay, you usually paint around 8 to 10%. So I'm going to now make this go almost all the way hard, which again is not normal. So now we use this big brush and I'm going to fill in all her area here. Notice how I'm being very careful not to hurt the holes that are looking through to the background from her hair. Do you follow what I'm saying? So let's now go like this. Let's click down here. Let's click over here. That's probably a hole. These are not holes. That right there, that's a hole. This is a shine spot. So this is what I want you to do, and you can see how I've created a lot of that mask. So I'm going to save the file, okay? Now, I want to isolate this. So how do you isolate it? Well, I'm happy with what I did. So if I hurt this area here, and I don't think I wrote this in the PDF. If I hurt this area here or over here by trying to paint white and make the hair work, okay, I'm going to have to start over again on the channel, right? Well, not if I actually duplicate it again. So if I mess up on this one, guess what? I'll just go back to that one, right? Okay, so now I'm going to Alt or Option click the white, and I'm going to make my brush big like this, and I'm going to paint white in here. And you can see how I am getting close to the hair. Now I'm going to have to customize this. Okay, what does that mean? Well, instead of painting at 100%, I think I'm going to go down to 25%. Got it? Now I'm going to make the brush a little smaller, and I'm going to use a little technique, but I'm going to make the brush go softer. Okay, now watch how I come around this hair like this, and you can see how I am taking my time just like that, but now I've kind of fixed that area. Now I'm going to use a secret here to get rid of this gray. So I want you to watch it. I'm actually going to use a lasso, and I'm going to take the L key, lasso, and I'm going to go around this right here. See how I'm now isolating this right here. See that? Okay, that means if I bring up the levels command, it's only affecting what's inside of there, but I'm canceling it. I'll tell you why. I don't want a hard edge on this. I mean, I can get rid of it with the paintbrush, but I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Feather, and I'm going to feather it by about 5 or 10 pixels. 5 is fine. Now, I usually hit Command or Control H at this point to turn that off, but I want to leave it on so you see when I go to Control L or Command L, watch what I do here. I'm going to pick up the mid-range and I'm going to make it brighter. Now, do you see how I only affected what was inside the lasso? Here's what I did. See that? And I didn't hurt anything else on her hair. I'm successful there. So I'm going to deselect, and now you can see what I've done there. That's kind of nice. But I want to use the paintbrush right here at 25% and just give a little bit more white through here. So look at, I'm being very careful, just like this, just being very careful to try to get it and keep it natural. So you got to use your artist license, just like I did. Now, look at that hair. Look at how pretty it is. I mean, could you ever imagine trying to path out and protect that hair? There's no way. So let's go over here now and do this side. I'm going to do the same thing that I just did. Okay, so I don't want to lose this hair right here. So I'm going to figure out a place. It's a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to come up a little higher with the lasso on this side. See how I did that? And I'll come right through here just like this. Again, I'm going to put it on a feather. So let's go here. I didn't say feather and I didn't say lasso in the PDF handout. I say you can paint white. You don't have to do this lasso trick, but do you see how it isolates part of the channel so that, and I'm putting a 5-pixel feather there, so when you hit Control L or Command L, you're not affecting anything else. That's really cool. Now I'm going to use the mid-range and I'm going to raise up the mid-range and the dark. Okay, now I'm pretty good right there, and you can see I've got a little bit of junk down here on the corner, but I really did a good job, and you'll see that I did a good job right here because you can see where it's still gray in the background. Well, this is a perfect time to make the brush big. Okay, put your flow on about 10%, Brian. And now I'm going to get close to this and watch how I take out and just make that a little bit whiter over there. Yes, I lost a little bit of her hair, but not too much. Now look at how I can paint white just like this. Look at. And I can come in with a smaller brush. Look at how nice that is, and come kind of close to that hair right here. And guess what? I am just about done. There, I'm just spotting it. I'm spotting it. And now that's pretty. Now I am ready to actually you know what, I'm not. I want to lighten up this area just a little bit more. So I'm going to take the lasso. Don't get mad. I'm going to make sure I hit Command D, and I'm going to come up through here. Sorry. I'm going to come up through here with the lasso. I don't like what I just did. I'm going to come right up through. Nope. Sorry. I'm going to come up this strand of hair. You see how I'm being very picky? And now I'll come up higher like this. Now the reason, now this is what I'm going to do. So I am going to feather it again. By the way, it's Shift F6 is the quick key for here. All right, now I am going to hit Command or Control H to hide it, but I'm going to hit Command or Control L now, and we're going to bring up the mid-range. Now do you see how nicely it's making the white appear here? That's perfect. And I'm going to make the dark come up to the, move it to the right a little bit so that I can protect those hairs. Okay, now that's good. That's good. I'm going to save the file. Now here's the difference. Let me zoom into here. Here was the other channel, right? Here's the other channel that I don't need anymore because I didn't mess up this channel. See that? So this channel can get thrown away. Do you understand? Okay. Now, all I have to do, and I don't have to duplicate it, but I am going to duplicate this one. Just so you can see, and I'm hitting Control D or Command D to make sure I've deselected. Now, the quick key is Control or Command I. I want to go into adjustments and invert. What was black is going to be white, and what was white is going to be black, right? Correct? Now, why? Well, if I make a selection of this channel, that means I can paint the background. Well, I don't want the background. I want the girl. I want the girl's head. So I'm going to hit Command I or Control I, and now I have this perfectly. Now, do you see how I have to go into this background where I thought this was all black? I have to increase the blacks here. So I'm going to just have patience. I don't want any of the background in this brownish tone over here to appear in the castle picture. Do you understand? So I'm going to make it a little bit harder, hit the return key, make my flow about 50%, Option or Alt click the black. Let's start over here and fill that in all the way black. There. I'll even do that one over there. Now that side is perfect. Now this side, let's just be a little bit clean about it. Do you see that beautiful hair right there? Well, I'm going to, there's two ways that I can do this. So I'm going to get close to this, and then I'm going to actually use the levels command. I'm going to do the best I can without hurting that hair right there. Do you see how I'm trying to do the best job I can, and I'm not hurting that hair, but levels will help me there. So this is all about creating a quick channel mask and getting it where you need it, where you want it. Now, look what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hit the L key again. I'm so sorry for this, but look, I'm going to come through here just like this. You see how I'm coming through here like that? So if you have any areas like this, just do what I did. What am I going to do? Yes, I am going to feather that. Now I'm going to level it off. Now I'm going to hit Command or Control H to hide that, but I'm going to hit Command or Control L again, and all I'm going to do is pick up the black, meaning I'm going to move the black slider to the right. Now look what that did. Let me move this slider up to the left. My dog is barking. Let's go this way, and I'm pretty good right there. That is pretty good. I like what I did there, and it's pretty good. So now I'm going to save the file again. Okay, we're ready to remove her from the background. So off goes this picture right here. I'm going to click back up to the RGB image. As soon as I do that, or if I click right there on this icon for that one, for this layer right there, now I'm back into a regular Photoshop working on layers stuff, right? Okay, so if I hold the Command or Control key and I click on this icon over here in the channel palette, not the name, but the icon, I've now turned it into a selection. A very amazing selection. Now all I have to do, there's so many ways I can do this. I could add a layer mask and see how I cut her out. You see the layer mask over here? If I'm happy with that, if I'm happy with that layer mask, I can right-hand click and apply it. Now that's one way I could have done it. Okay, I'm going to Command Z back or Control Z back twice. The other way is just hit Command or Control J. And now I have a copy, because I actually want to keep this clicky copy up here. So now I have her cut out. So let's go back to the handout and see what to do next. So now we are here. So now I want to bring in, I'm just reading, the female figure is ready for the Irish castle background. Open the JPEG, which I'm going to do. Click on the background layer, choose Duplicate, and under Destination, choose Document as the PSD file. And then we can place her. So let's click on here. Let's go to the asset file. So let me click my Finder. Let's go over to here and double click the Irish Castle. Now I've opened it, right? Now if I right hand click right here and duplicate that layer, I can change the destination document right here by going to the demo file. Now I've got it in there. Okay, now I can close this and just not save it. Now you see where it is. Well, obviously it has to go below that young lady, and I don't want the clicky copy on. So there's my first thing. Now I show you in here kind of how I transformed and scaled the castle. See how there's a bunch over here. Here, I'll zoom in. See how there's a bunch left over on the left, there's a bunch on the bottom. I'm pretty close to here and here, so I'll go 1.5 inches out about and 1 inch down, and you'll see what I'm doing, because I want to see the castle, right? So I'm going to click back on this. Question, are you on the right layer, Brian? Yes, and I'm going to name this castle. Now I hit Command or Control T, right? Now all I have to do is shrink it so I don't have to hold the Shift key, right? And I can move it over and put it right about here. Now that is just perfect. That is just fine. So I'm a little bit of bleed on the top, a little bit of bleed on the right, and a lot of bleed on the left and bottom. So I hit the return key and save the file. Now the next thing that we have to do, it's going to go pretty fast from now, is we're going to position the female figure where we want. Now, I kind of want to move her over because I want a little bit of image over here on this side. My dog is barking again. The next thing we're going to do after that is go to Filter, Render, Lens Flare, and choose Movie Prime. And then we're going to place the crosshair. Do you see this crosshair that's in the lens flare window? You see that one? Just position it near the castles, wherever you want. You don't have to put it where I put it. You don't. You can put it where you want. Okay, so we're going to do both of those things. So let's click, and I'm going to just going to show you, and I'm going to name all my layers. Hopefully I name them right and everything. So let's click on the girl layer. Let's hit the V key. I'm going to move her back over a little bit to the right so that I get a little bit more castle to show. Okay, so I kind of like that. So I'm going to save the file. Now the clicky copy doesn't match up. Do you see what I did there? So what I should have done is move both of them over. That would have been cool, so that I don't have to do something which I don't feel like doing, which is to now match her in. I'll show you the long way of what I was going to do to match her. Watch, and it's not hard. It's not hard, I promise. So you click on the clicky copy, you remove the opacity so you can see both images. Now I'm going to hit the V key, right? Now I'm going to move the top image with the V key, and I'm going to move it over. So I have to make sure I'm in the V key, which is the move tool, and I'm going to move her over just like this. I don't know why that's taking so long. All right, I'm going to zoom in. It's taking too long, so I'm going to manually hold the shift key and move her over. Now look, if I keep it going with the left arrow, you can see I've got her just about perfectly aligned. So that was a good way to do it. By removing opacity from the top layer, I could use the move tool and the cursor keys to put her in position. So now I put this back up at 100%. So at least I have them in the same place, right? So save the file, Brian. Why do I want that? Because I want to compare. And I'm going to have a bunch of layers between the bottom layer and her in a little while. I don't want to constantly turn those off and on, right? So that's going to make the clicky copy be important. Okay, the next thing is click on your castle layer. Okay, and now we're going to add a lens flare. Now let me go to my other finished file and show you that here was the okay, I have a lens flare. Okay, here it is. So you can see here how I have the layer of the background untouched. Okay, not touched. Then I put a lens flare on a copy. Then I did the blur thing, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. So, and here's what I want to say to you. So I'm going Command tilde to go to my other tab. Okay. So the next thing, I'm bringing over the thing here. When you're working, I'm just going to give you a for instance. Don't damage an original layer. You can always throw it away if you're happy with what you've done on the duplicated layer. Am I correct? So I wanted to show you here, not only am I going to position the lens flare over here, but I'm going to use a paintbrush to tone down the bright spot, because believe it or not, that's where the sun was. Look at how there's a big bright spot way over here. Well, that's kind of where the sun was in this case. Okay, well, I don't want somebody to think there's two suns in the sky, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go to Movie Prime. We're going to use lens flare with, Movie Prime at 120%. First thing first. So let's make sure we duplicate this. Now turn off the bottom one. I'm going to rename this Castle with Sun, or anything you want. It's fine. Okay, now with that layer selected, let's go to Filter, Render, and lens flare. At the bottom over here, make sure you're on Movie Prime. Okay, now let's move it over and let us take this and put it right by the castle. So you have to do it in this window right here. Now there's no preview on this. Okay, so I had to experiment with what I wanted to do here, so I'm going to put it up to 120%. I'm almost there. Sorry, I'm there. Now I'm going to click OK, and there is your sunshine. Okay, so save your file. Now I'm going to turn off her layer, which we should do. Hit the B key, make it big. I'm just going to tone this area back right here with, guess what? That tone right there. I don't need the clone tool. I don't need anything. I just need to click this, and at a flow of about 10%, no more, and with a soft brush, did you hear those two things? Paint. Just paint that back. You just need to kill, that's an expression we use in the field. You just need to tone down that, and that's perfect. Okay, now I did it right on the exact layer. I didn't even use a layer above it because I knew it was a very simple task. Let's turn back her image. Let's save the file, and now let's continue. So here's your PDF file, and that's what I just did. I used the brush to sample the sky area, right? And I toned it back. Now we are ready to work on the image of the female to make sure she blends with the castle in color, softness, focus, and overall lighting. So the very first thing we're going to do, and I named these layers because I wanted you to see originally, there's her, I'm clicking right there, right? I'll click next to it. That number 1 is her original cutout layer. I don't want to damage it, so what do? Yes, I duplicate it. And I'm going to name it Camera Raw Filter so that I can keep on going. Okay, and now here's what you do. So number 1, see where number 1 correlates to number 1 right there? See it? So duplicate it so you have a safe backup. Number 2, I'm going to put this on my other screen, and any value in this window that's not 0, okay, is what I did to make this work. So I'm going to put this over here so you keep your PDF open. Let's duplicate her layer. I should name it original. Hopefully I spelled that right. Duplicate original. And now I'm going to turn off the original, right? Turn it off. And I'm going to double click this, and we're going to name it Camera Raw Filter. And yes, I got it right. Save the file. Save every time you do a good thing. Now, let's go to, let's go to Camera Raw Filter. And in this window that's going to come up right here, I'm going to look at all my edits that are over here. So let me move my PDF file open. Again, those edits right there, correct, are going in that window right over here. Okay, so I'm leaving it on color. The very first thing is I went on temperature, and try to keep your, I'm going to zoom into her. I'm going to get a little closer. So temperature I have as 8. Okay, you saw that heat up right there. Let's put this one on 10, which is tint. The very next thing is minus 150 on exposure. So minus 1.50. Okay, because I wanted her to have, and let me zoom back out, I wanted her to have a little bit of a darkness on her face, okay, because obviously the sun means she's backlit. Okay, so let's keep on going. Highlights, I wanted to pick up the highlights at 60, so I went there at 60. The next thing is shadows. I have, and make sure it's plus or minus. So I have minus 20 in shadows. This is like the biggest thing that'll take me to get to the edit. Whites, I wanted a plus 40. Okay, so I don't have to hit the plus sign. Blacks, I wanted plus 36. Now, clarity, I wanted the clarity at 5. Now, there is a preview here somewhere, but I can't remember where it is. It's okay. I don't care. So now let me just triple check that I've done everything. 150 minus 150, 60, 20, 36, yes, and 5, and under vibrance, forgot that, I have 4. See, I like how I went through my edits. And on saturation, I actually beefed her up to 5. You could go a little higher, and that really helped. Okay, that really helped, and I'll show you the difference in a second. So now I'm triple checking, everything is the same, and I'm going to click OK. Now, here's the difference. Here's what she was, right? here's what I have. And that's so much fun. Now I'm going to turn off her original layer. Now the next thing we're going to do is go to a neural filter. Now you can choose, and I'm going to show you what a neural filter is. Right there is a neural filter. It actually now softens her face. It's like using the healing brush, but in one movement. It's incredible. Okay. Now, if you've never used the neural filter, I want you to read this with me. If this is the first time you've used this filter in Photoshop, you will have to access or upload it to your application, and it will direct you to do so. So let me show you what I'm talking about, but because I've already used it, I'm going to back off on it. And I'm going, oh, just a minute. I'm going to sneeze too. Excuse me, I am so sorry. I'm glad we're socially distanced, right? So here is the neural filter, okay? And I'm going to get close. So I'm going to put this on my other screen. As soon as I activate the neural filter on her to soften her face, get rid of her little pimples, get rid of any skin blemishes, you have to turn skin smoothing on. See where I have it? See where I'm clicking right there? You have to turn that on. Let me click over here. Then I made it go 70 on blur, 10 on smoothness, leave it on a new layer so it doesn't damage the original layer. And I also want you to learn something in a minute. And if you want to preview it, you can preview it. So I will preview it with you. So let's go over here now, click on this layer, and we're not going to damage it because we asked the neural filter to create a new layer. So let's go to Filter, Neural Filter. See it right there? And why is it between the two things here? Because it's a third-party filter. Now, I'm getting this window. You won't. You have to activate it. And if you have an Adobe Creative Cloud account, you already can activate it, and it'll activate it for you. I don't remember if I had to restart Photoshop, but if I do, then I do. Then you do. So here's what we do. Let's kind of zoom into this if I can. Okay. Good. I want to go real close to that. Now, let's turn on skin smoothing. So we did, right? Let's put 50 and move it up to 70. Now, I'm going to show you in the preview what that looks like. I'm almost at 70, right there. Now, the next one is 10. So I went to a smoothness of 10. Any more than that, and she's going to look a little funny. Now, here's the preview. So I click it off. Now, let me zoom in and show you her face. This is important. See how many blemishes she has? Here's off, on, off, on. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, it's gorgeous. Click OK. And now, okay, now it's good. Now you see this neural filter that's right here. I'm actually going to name this. I don't remember what I named it. Just a minute. I named it, guess what? Neural filter added. So I'm going to double click that. And how do you spell neural? N-E-U-R-A-L. I just want to be complete with you. So the file you get is going to be right. Now these two layers, I'm going to color them because they are going to get turned off in a second. Got it? Okay. So I'm going to right hand click and color these any color. I don't care. I'm going to put them on red because red means don't show it. Okay. That's what red means. All right. So with these two layers selected, the next step is to create a copy merged layer. You know how cool it is to know how to make a copy merged layer? What's a copy merged layer? It is something that Photoshop developed so that you wouldn't hurt the originals. Now, if I hit Command E right now, look, now in my mind, I've made a mistake because now I can't go back to what I had. So I'm going to Control Z or Command Z back. Now, if I hold Command Option E or Control Alt E, hold Control Alt and press the E key, you're going to make a copy merged layer, or Command Option and hit the E key. See how neat that is? That is a copy merged layer of these two, and you didn't damage the originals. Now I'm saving the file. That is so important. So what I want to do here is duplicate this. So now on the top one, I'm actually going to rename it Lighting Filter. Now, we're going to need both of these layers. I just want you to see this. We're going to need both of these to be on the screen. This one and this one. But I'll let you see why. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to a lighting and help increase her lighting, but not on the original, which this is the original after we did the neural softness, right? So now I'm leaving this one on, and I'm going to go to filter, render lighting effects. And in lighting effects, I want to bring over the handout so you can see it. Here, it's very important that you see the size of the circle. So there's only 3 quick edits we're going to do. Make sure the green circle is around the size of her face. Then we're going to turn this color, which is the color of the intensity, a soft yellow. Then we're going to turn it to be more of an orange, like the orange on the side of the castle, for the colorize to this. Okay, and then my numbers are intensity 28, exposure -8. So keep your PDF open so you can see the size of that green circle. And let's now click on it. Now, if your circle comes in, let me click on it, the edge. Okay, if your whoops, sorry. Let me move that back to where I had it on. So move it by her nose. It's got to turn yellow. Now, do you see how I can make it smaller? Or grab it when it turns yellow and make it bigger. And I want to encompass her hair here, so it does what it wants to lighten up this hair but then add darkness out here. So let's take this to a 28 and a -8 so you can see what I've done. Now I've already gone in and I want you to see these 2 color icons. So I'm going to click on that icon and show you it was 252, 249, and 227. So you can choose your own colors for colorize and intensity, or intensity and colorize. But colorize was, for the orangish color, was 249, 178, and 115. So I'm just going to show you that. So see where this one right here follows 252, 249, and 227. So they're going to start out being white on both of them, but since I've done this before, it's already the orange. Okay, so now this one is 249, 178, and 115. So that's what I want you to do. Okay, and then I want you, when you click OK on those, I want you, before you click OK up here, you can preview it and you can see what it was. Now you can see what it is, and that's perfect. I do admit that the back of her hair is kind of dark right now, but that's why we're going to use the lower layer in a second. So I'm going to click OK. And now we're almost done. Now all we have to do is add a layer mask to both of these layers. So I'm going to click on this top one, which was the lighting effect, and I'm going to click on the bottom one, which was the neural effect, and I'm going to turn off the bottom one for a moment. Now I want you to see when I click on the mask for the top one is I have the B for my paintbrush. I'm painting at a flow of about 10, right? I'm painting in black, which means I'm going to eliminate tone. Now this is what I want to do. I want to eliminate her hair from even showing up back here. You would say, why, Brian? Gosh almighty, why are you doing that? I went too big with my brush, so I'm just going to Command Z back and go smaller with the brush. Just on the side of her head. Whoops. 10 is too much. I'm going to go to 8, maybe even 5. Okay, that's perfect. There. Now, by me doing what I'm doing, it is going to look funny right now because I'm making her transparent, right? Making her transparent. I want it all across the top, and I want it up here. Look at how this is way too harsh. So now I'm going to paint across this, make it more transparent, and I'm going to, whoops, somehow, and I don't know how, and I've made a student mistake, is I have to Command Z back. Look, I was painting on the image. That's why white was going in on the image and I didn't understand what was happening. Okay, I made the biggest mistake ever, but I'm glad I made it. So I'm going to Command Z back a bunch of times, all the way back to where that comes back on. See this one, that eyeball. Now, are you on the layer mask, Brian? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I made that mistake. Yes, I'm on the layer mask. Yes, I'm painting black. And yes, I'm reducing the intensity of her hair over here because I want the hair that's on the lower layer to show through. And you will see what I'm talking about. Now, I could complete this and keep it going just like this, Okay, and it looks funny right now, so I want to soften the top of her head right there. But now watch what happens when I actually turn on the bottom layer. Do you see how the bottom layer shows the red through there? So let me turn off the bottom layer again and kill this a little bit more, knock it back. Now I have it softer. Okay, and I'll show you the difference in a second. But now I need to add a layer mask to this one. And I'm going to gently remove this from this one. Gently just add a little bit of that transparency so the hair on the edge picks up a little bit of the blue in the sky that it would be refracting from or reflecting from. I may be saying that word wrong. Now let's come down through here just a little bit, just a tiny bit like this. And now I should have it done. Now here's the difference. So I'm going to zoom in. If I right hand click and I disable that, can you see how, and I should do even more, can you see how it looks dark on the edge? Well, that's because this one, when we went into the lighting filter, made it dark. So now I'm going to right hand click and enable it. But I'm going to make the brush bigger and I'm going to lighten up. Am I click? Oh, I just about did the same thing. I'm not clicked on the layer mask. Gosh, I really should be a better boy. Okay, so now I'm painting over here and you can see that I'm actually allowing for the lower layer hair to come through and it's looking gorgeous. Now, that's it. Except for blurring the background, you're done. Now, can I please just right hand click, okay, and disable it? Look at how this looks way too harsh. Now let me zoom in. Look at how when I enable it, look at how that hair looks gorgeous. Now, not only does it pick up the light from the castle on her face, which I have better lighting on, right? I have much better lighting on the edge of her face. It has a little yellow that's glowing off that. But I have a little reflected light coming in on the side of her face. Okay, so we're going to duplicate the castle layer. Right now, her hair is blurry right there. See it? Well, how can her hair be blurry with the camera and the cattails and the feather and the water right here be not blurry? Well, it doesn't make sense. But I have artist license in my pocket and I'm going to, in my back pocket actually, and I'm going to cheat. But I'm going to show you that I'm going to duplicate the castle layer and I'm going to put the word blurred in there. And this is the last page of the handout, which I will show you in a second. And I left a space there. I can't stand it. Okay, now I'm going to add a layer mask to it. But I'm going to click to the image. It's important that I click to the image. Okay, now I am going to bring the handout here because after you're done with all of these warm colors and the orange color, I ask you here to, and where did I write it? I ask you, whoops, sorry. I thought I put in here how much you blur. I thought oh, no, use the brush. Oh, here, right there, right there. So in the blur amount, I didn't even know where I put it. So I'm telling you to go to that movie prime layer or the castle layer, really. It doesn't matter what you name it, it's the castle layer. And go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and put it on 10 pixels. Okay, I just couldn't find it. I even wrote it. I couldn't find it. So I'm clicked on the image. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I'm going to put it on a 10 and hit OK. Now, look at how that looks better. Look at how the hair and the cattails and the water look better. But it looks kind of funny to have the castle all blurred. It just doesn't. I just don't think it looks great. So I'm going to click to the layer mask. Now, I'm painting at 5%. I'm painting with black. I'm painting with a large brush. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. If I cut a hole into this layer, I'll see a crisp castle, right? So let's just paint until it gets crisp. And I probably should put this on more of a, like a 10% so it doesn't take me 45 minutes to do this. And now you can see how I have the grass in front, just a little bit of the grass, and the castle itself kind of crisp. So I am playing where I said artist license and why I said artist license is because I understand that you really shouldn't be able to have two depths of field in one lens. But on Magic, I have a camera that can have two depths of field. Now, that's gorgeous. Her hair is gorgeous. Again, look at how beautiful that is. I'm just so happy myself to understand channels. And I hope you liked this assignment, and I hope you try the next 3 or 2 or 1, but here's what I'm talking about. So if I go like that, you can see here I've given you 3 other images, as I said before, for you to play with. Try the same stuff. You choose a background for this young lady. Okay, she almost looks like she should be in a Lord of the Rings fantasy background. You know, that would be cool. And with her, you can put her anywhere in that background. Now, the yellow will be interesting in channels to see what the yellow actually turns into, but one of the channels will work really well with her. So go ahead and give her a shot and try it. Let me save this file. And now you need these 4 layers on. So I'm going to color all the layers that I want to keep on green. Whoops. I shouldn't have used the Shift key. I should have used Control or Command. So let me click on this one, Command click on this one, or Control click, then skip down to here and skip down to here, and now right hand click, and let's color them green, because those are the ones that matter. And there is your file. Here's what we started with, and here's where we are. I'll zoom in. Here's where we started with, and here's where we are. I'll see you on the next assignment, and I will probably have another assignment ready for you soon. Thanks.